webinar. So, hello, everybody. My name is Monica Ene Pietrosanu. It's a pleasure for me to be here to introduce our wonderful speaker today. Before that, I want to present on behalf of InProTEd a few words about the organizers of this webinar series. InProTEd is the International Professionals for Technology and Education, a non-profit whose mission is to connect students with experienced engineers in software, technology, and educators from all around the world. They are implementing projects for technologies and education, and their goal is to train the engineers of the future. As you can see on this slide, there are several project tracks that InProTEd is implementing. One and the most established is are the summer schools. This advanced programming summer schools for high school students called Sinaya, which have just closed the second edition, and we are planning the third edition next summer. They also have projects for professional development, and you are attending today one of them. This Career Matters for Women webinar series brings to you terrific speakers from all across the industry to share their learning, to share their passion. And we had so far presenters from Intel, Microsoft. Today we have Alina from Microsoft. Last but not least, we have a path of students sharing experiences where we had great students sharing their experience of applying in Europe for universities in Netherlands. And we have coming up a new presentation on AI for good. And I see a few more folks joined. Thank you for joining. So I want to say a few words about Alina. Alina Stanciu, we are very thrilled to have her here today to present. She is a principal program manager at Microsoft in the Azure IoT Smart Places and Energy team. She's working on essential smart building solutions, enabling digital transformations in real estate as well as in the infrastructure. Alina has earned her bachelor in computer science from University Polytechnica of Bucharest. She holds several US patents with Microsoft. And last year, she released 2 products with her team at Microsoft. And hopefully she's going to tell us more about this. Over the 23-year professional career, Alina has contributed to a variety of software engineering disciplines, including teaching programming languages, developing software products for a small company, as well as designing, developing, and managing high-scale Azure services with Microsoft. Nevertheless, she has developed effective principles for balancing a successful professional career with her fun-filled personal life. She and her family are involved in multiple activities outdoor. She likes challenging trail hikes and competitive tennis. She's married to Dan. They have 2 teenagers and they live in Seattle, Washington. So in this episode, Alina will share insights about her journey, and you will see that she loves to speak about, with the same passion, about her work accomplishments as well as her healthy lifestyle. I'll stop here. Alina, the stage is yours.
Okay, let
and
me...
Feel free to share. I'll stop sharing.
Mm-hmm. Let me know if you see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So first, thank you so much, Monica, for awesome introduction. And good morning, everyone, or good evening if you are from Europe. Thank you so much for joining me today and the InProTEd crew today. Today, I'm hoping for an open and honest dialogue with you about the life of a computer scientist. So I want you to bring your coffee, your tea, your wine. Why not, right? It's Saturday evening. And yeah, let's have some open discussion. I will demystify the title of my webinar throughout my slides: Challenge, Organic, and Future. These are probably the most important attributes that define me professionally and personally. And feel free to interrupt me at any moment with questions. I really want to, and I'm hoping for an open discussion and not a one-way. And if Monica or everybody, if something is not moving, let me know. So I'm going to start with breaking the ice, introducing some facts about me. Some of them are fun. I will talk a bit about my professional journey with personal stories. I will talk about the PM role, right? My role, it's a program manager right now, and how to progress, what are the tips to progress through the levels, and some career advice that I frequently give. And also I will introduce you to my current professional work, right? And to the products that I've shipped, and also how smart buildings are emerging, and they are changing the world in ways that right now it's sometimes hard to predict, right? And because I'm in smart buildings, I can show you how we can make buildings to run more efficiently, but also how can we make employees and tenants feel comfortable and be more productive. And with this, I'm going to talk a little bit about me. I've started the journey very early in freshman year of the high school, when computer science was just a dream. And I cannot say that I was passionate, right? It was just something too intriguing to not explore. As Monica mentioned, I'm a computer science graduate. Yes, my husband is also a computer science graduate. And for many years, our evening discussions were around coding, debugging, troubleshooting, best practices. And most of my friends are computer science graduates. And you can imagine that I live in a computer science bubble, which probably it's a curse, but also, it's a blessing in the same time. I like to throw myself in the ocean to solve problems. This is what people are calling the plunger, right? I know sometimes the plunger could be a dirty job, but it's a humongous satisfaction when you clean the mess, whether it's your mess or maybe it's somebody else's mess. I'm really ready to get my hands dirty to solve problems. And since I became a program manager, I can say that I'm a customer obsessed. This is what my team, my people at work are labeling me. And I get a great satisfaction when I see a customer happy and he gets what he needs from us. I always love demos on presentations. To me, it brings credibility. It brings that tech flavor, right, that I always love. So of course, today I'm going to do a demo. Hopefully, everything works. I live in the United States the same number of years as in Romania. This was a fact that I just realized very recently, which is 23. And I'm very grateful for my chance to live in both countries and to learn great things from each culture. And yeah, I feel like both cultures brought me to the maturity I have today. Monica mentioned about tennis. Yes, I love tennis. Probably there is no single day without checking the tournament scores, players, ranking. And of course, I also play. So I promise I will keep you in this dialogue, engage. Again, you don't have to answer if you don't feel like, answering. However, on each slide, I'm going to ask you a question. Maybe you keep it in your mind. Maybe you can answer later. So now I'm going to ask you, how would you label yourself, right? And what motivates you? I believe it's important for all of us to question ourselves about this, so we can discover early on our passions and strengths and to take advantage of them and position ourselves uniquely relative to others. And now let's talk a little bit about my professional journey with some personal stories. So I mentioned I was introduced very early to computer science. When I say early, it was early for my generation. It was in 9th and 10th grade. I started at that time, I started to work with BASIC, with Pascal, with C. And I had the luck to have a great teacher and advisor in high school who was a visionary in 1990 and who introduced computer science classes in our high school, actually to our class. And to me, this really sounded like science fiction, but I was so intrigued, and I knew somehow that, you know, this computer science it's leading me, will lead me to a different future than the current times we were like living, right? Communism was just falling in a year before. And it was another random catalyst that triggered me to computer science. It was one of my best friend aunt who was living in the United States at that time and was telling her, if you want to immigrate in US and you want to have a good life, study computer science. Well, it happened for me to hear that advice, and that just got stuck in my head. My professional career really started in college when I met an amazing teacher and mentor, professor, PhD, Irina Stanciu, who introduced and promoted Linux in Romania and had a huge impact to IT development in our country, and who helped myself, my future husband, lots of the people on this call. And Irina recommended us like to multiple student jobs. I was teaching students when I was a student. I work on few companies like Romanian Ministry of Work, of Labor, Computerland, and even Microsoft. It was something that, yes, Irina was helping and was supporting us. She was a great mentor, and she was promoting women, and she herself was among the fewest in the industry. I don't know if you know, she contributed also to the success of Java language in Romania. In my 4th and 5th year of college, Irina was teaching us Java programming language developed by Sun Microsystems. And she founded, this was the first Sun lab on our campus, on our university. Irina is not here with us today, and she deserves all of this credit. And I know some of us here are so thankful for her support and for our career, in fact. So I think of my computer science immersion was, you know, lots of luck of an amazing teachers in my life, of course, complemented with my vision of dreaming big for the future. In Microsoft, I've started my career in development in test. This is what, this role doesn't exist today. This is what today, I think, multiple companies still have, like quality assurance engineer. Essentially, I was coding all day long, developing automation testing system for multiple platforms like Hotmail, Windows Live. And then I felt a natural progression to developer, to work on the real product. And here I was working on multiple Microsoft products, an MS Asset System for managing the the cloud and infrastructure, power, capacity, and allocation of Microsoft data centers. I was working on the unified ticketing system. I don't know if some of you remember about Project Red Dog. This is the future Microsoft Azure, which was released in 2014. And in 2014, when Satya became the CEO, he was introducing lots of changes in the company, and including growth mindset. And at that time, I made a big turn in my career searching for the why, right? And for the customer, because in essence, this is the program manager role. So this is how I started to learn about the program manager role. And in the next slides, I will explain you more, like what does it take to be a good PM, not only at Microsoft, but in general. And I said that it was a big turn because not only that I switched my role, my discipline, this was my third time, but also I switched my domain. I switched to Internet of Things, right? Internet of Things, again, in 2014 and 15 was something, again, sci-fi to me when I was hearing about remote monitoring, predictive maintenance, predictive analytics, anomaly detection, machine learning, device simulation. All of these concepts sounded so futuristic. And again, I was intrigued to work in this space. And again, I had the luck to meet this wonderful product manager who believed in me and convinced me that, you know, IoT is one of the areas for the future. And of course, later on, I just realized how important, right, to build a network, professional network it is in your career, right? You don't have to wait for people to find you. You need to find them, and you need to find opportunities to meet them. So to summarize here, I think my evolution was a very organic one, an experience which moves from the how to what and to why. And of course, this is a natural progression of maturity. And I will pause here for questions because I spoke a lot to see if there are questions. And then I will, and before I pause for question, I want to ask you this. What do you think is success? Is success luck or hard work? Well, if you are curious about this, I do have a video. I have a link at the end of my presentation, and I will share this presentation. It's an amazing video which explains you indeed what's success. And if you are curious, I will invite you to watch it. I hope everybody, Monica, Miki, I hope everybody can hear me.
We can hear you. Yep,
okay,
good.
perfect, perfect. If there are no questions, I will continue.
Yes.
Well, and by the way, I'm not seeing right now the chat. Monica, if you see questions, if you can, you know.
I'll keep an eye on the chat for you.
Thank you so much.
I think the request is, if you have a question, raise your hand. There is an option for that. You can also write in the chat, and I will monitor that, or you can unmute your microphone.
Okay. Product manager, program manager, not only at Microsoft, of course, I will describe you how is to be a program manager at Microsoft, and just a little bit about program versus product. Product manager, it's more like, of course, depends on the product manager and the program manager. Really, the definitions are varying from the small companies to big companies, right? But essentially, product managers, inherently, the role is strategic, right? It's getting product market fit right. You can think about it as CEO of the product. And the purpose of this role is to drive a business outcome through the product market fit. Program manager, it's very similar. You have to think that, you know, a big product like Azure IoT, right, has multiple services, and, you know, all of the services needs, you know, work from design to release, right? Customer feedback, requirements, so on and so forth. And not a big difference, as I said, just like I wanted to make it clear for everybody. And from now on, I will say PM because it's easier for me. And in many ways, that there are more specializations in the PM role than there is in any other disciplines. And I don't think there is, you know, definitely there is not a one size fits all role. And in our team, there are many PMs doing different things. We have PMs who are responsible for strategic customer accounts. We have PMs who are doing product work, PMs who are working with developers. They are working with people in the industry to learn about cars and to learn about building standards. Usually a PM role fills a business need. And of course, a PM is ultimately accountable for the customer success, right? Customer might be, you know, an external partner, could be an end client, but could be, you know, an internal team, or, you know, an internal PM in a different team. And the PM owns the why, the what, and for whom. And the PM and the developer, they own the when, okay? Just like to bring, you know, assign the others here to the role. And of course, for a PM, it's super important to understand the customer needs, right? The jobs to be done, right? And of course, this is the reason why we have this discipline, right? Because it's separate from developers who are writing code. It's like the balance of power in a government, right? It's like, you know, having concerns and separation of concern. I've been in multiple roles, and I can tell you that as a developer, it's very difficult to separate what you think the technology can do with what the customer needs. And I feel like in some ways, PMs are yet to be willfully, right? Ignore the constraints and decide what's important to reach the customer objective, regardless, right, on how do you get there, regardless of whether technology can do that. And it's important for, just like for all of us to get there, right? So this is balance of power between devs and PMs, as of course, as an important one. As a PM, you need an excellent communication, great collaboration. You need to know how to influence people in a good way. And of course, having a technical acumen, it's super important, right? The more technical you are, the more freedom you have to talk with your developers, to customer, to create your own demos. In this role, also, you will deal with lots of ambiguity, right? It's one of the core skills to find one of the core skills is to really find a signal, right, in the noise, and to drive clarity and to find a way forward, right? This is what mostly the PM is doing. It's bringing clarity. And of course, a PM needs strategic thinking, right? You need to learn how to gain outsized impact for your customers with the minimal effort possible, right? This is part of the strategic thinking. So now I'm going to ask you, what are your core skills or superpowers? And of course, I'm pausing also for questions if there are questions.
Yeah, maybe while we are waiting for questions, we have feedback from Christina on your previous question, where you ask if it's a luck or hard work. And she says it's hard work that contributes to success. I think that's very true.
So this is why I really wanted to let this, homework for you. And really, I'm giving you the video at the end, and I'm really encouraging you to watch it. It's both. It's a combination of both. If you have only hard work, it's not enough. You need that little bit of luck, which makes a huge difference.
Yep, there is a saying that luck finds those that are prepared. So I think that preparation takes a lot of hard work.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. Okay, so few things which are important in general to understand, right? How to progress in your career through the levels, right? And of course, there is a natural maturing that happens at each and every level, right? Particularly at each level band, and of course, the core skills are improved and honed over time, right? You learn from your own mistakes, you learn from your own successes, from your mistakes and successes of others. Now, if you deliver a great feature to a customer, right? This is an impact, right? But now, how do you make it better next time, right? How do you measure it? How do you make, how many customers are using your feature, right? Does it fit into the end-to-end value prop of the platform? How does it integrate, right, in the big puzzle? How do you monitor after you release it? All of these questions, right, are KPIs of your success or failure, right? And by the way, I never thought of failure as a bad word. To me, failure is like, I didn't achieve a goal I set out to. However, it's an opportunity for me to learn and make it better next time. And failure is really a failure when you are not learning, right? And you are making the mistake over and over and again, right? Of course, progressing through the levels takes time, right? There is no magic formula. What's the number of the years, right? It's just really different. And it's really the time depends on the size of your impact, right? It's the results you have achieved and the maturity through these results, right? And yes, I know many people who have spent lots of time understanding what's the next level band and what's required, and they will just start to emulate it, right? Even if maybe some of them, maybe they're not good at, they are just repeating and repeating until they get good. So essentially, you should not be, afraid, right, to do everything, right? Like if you have a dream, right? Find a good mentor, work with your manager, of course, if you cannot find one, and work with him or her to get insights on what does the next level look like, right? In our team, we have something super fun. It's a meeting which usually runs it's biannual. It's called Career Speed Dating, which is lots of fun. You go in a room and there are a bunch of round tables. Junior are sitting on one table, senior are sitting at another table, principal are sitting at another table. And the band up comes and speaks to the level band below about their particular career journey was. And the speaker does a 5-minute pitch, and everybody at the table has a chance to ask about their career journey and the reasons. Essentially, it's just like you learn from lots of the experiences. So now, here's the question that I'm going to ask you. How do you measure your own success or failure? Here is the career advice I frequently give. I will start with saying that getting an amazing job doesn't happen overnight. You have to plan, you have to first plan your career, right? You have to build your skills and talent stack, right? Then of course you have to network and build relationship with industry peers, with recruiters, with headhunters. And I'm going to explain you a little bit about talent stack. This is a concept which was coined by Scott Adams. It's the creator of the Dilbert comic. I don't know if you are familiar with Dilbert comic. This is Dilbert comic, right? And the idea is that you can combine normal skills until you have the right kind to be extraordinary. And an example itself, it's Scott. Scott itself, he's not the best artist. There are better artists than him. He's not much of a business person. They are more savvy experts. He has never taken a college level writing class. And yet he created Dilbert, a famous comic strip that right now appears in 65 countries. And I don't know, his net worth, it's about, I don't know, 75 million.
Yeah, it's about right, yes.
And I'm just quoting here, I'm quoting him. And I think this is a super nice idea that we all should do. When you add in my ordinary business skills, my strong work ethic, my risk management, and my reasonably good sense of humor, I'm fairly unique. And in this case, that uniqueness has the commercial value. I feel like it's a outstanding idea. We don't all have to be, superstars and super rock stars, right? We just have to combine multiple ordinary skills to really become great, right? And of course, what I'm advising you, try multiple roles, right? Especially early in your career, right? Multiple roles also includes multiple disciplines, right? Until you really find the one that you have the biggest affinity for. And of course, right, when you discover your passion, do that as best as you can by playing your strength. Again, I think I talk about people, right, who are switching roles to become good and great, and many times they succeed. And it's not necessarily that, they are switching just because they feel like I'm not that good at something, but I want to try because I want to be good. And I'm giving you a silly example, but I hope, this will stay with you. It's like, when you eat broccoli, right? The broccoli is good for you, right? For your health, but you don't like it. So you will work with your mind and you practice until you like it, right? It's not like passion, right? Where you'll probably innovate, but it's a technique that works many, many times. And of course, no one is great in all the roles, right? Like find the role that best matches to your strength, right? And don't stay in a role if stars don't align. I personally changed my teams multiple times in my past years. It either happened to find a misogynist, right? Or a person who was not interested in my career growth, or maybe a person who didn't have management skills or strategic thinking, or maybe a person or a manager who doesn't have a passion for customers. So my advice for you here, choose your work environment and your setup wisely. The priority that I go by is the following. First, I'm looking for a great manager. Second, I'm looking for a great team and great peers. Third, I'm looking for for a great product, right? Because ultimately, right, you know, if the product is great, but finally you are struggling, right, with a manager who doesn't, you know, see the value you are bringing on the table, then probably it's time for you to really move, right? Now, I can tell you from my experience, many times, I was in situation when I said, maybe I didn't choose this order. And I said to myself, I'm mature, I'm a big girl, I can handle this. And it turned out that no, I couldn't handle it. And yeah, when you find a clear sign that, you know, sometimes it's not really that, you know, he's bad and you're good. It's really about understanding that people, you know, sometimes do not bond. And when you have a clear sign of this, just, you know, find a different role. That's my advice. Build your professional network. Monica talks so well about this in her session. I will encourage you to, if you haven't seen her session, please take a look. She's talking about keeping an Excel. I love that idea, with multiple networking categories, like who's singing my praises, who's giving me the honest feedback, who has the power to make things happen. And of course, I don't want to repeat here Monica's idea. All I want to emphasize how important networking is in your career. We have the tendency, PMs, especially PMs, marketing, sales, people who are dealing with so many people to do networking. And developers, I was a developer, developers do not have this tendency. And this message is for those people who know, you know, don't spend time on networking. Do not forget, please invest in planting the seeds for your future, build relationships, set up goals to build this network, right? And, you know, find really reasons, right, to enrich your network, and reach out before you need help. For example, like every time when I move into a new team, I take my chance and I go meet all of the people. Of course, depends on how big is the team, but you really want to meet with the key people. You want to meet with all of the teams to make sure that you really, first, you learn, secondly, you network. And you will not believe how beneficial this will be in your future. Let's go maybe a little bit more. I'm just looking on time, 9:41. Monica, last time, she had a good one. She said, don't be afraid to say no. I fully agree with you, Monica. I also have another options to this. I keep all my work items in DevOps, in somewhere, right, in a programmatic way. And for each work item that I have, I keep my priority. What's the effort size? What's the due date? And many other things, right, about each and every item. And when I have, right, or when my manager or my skip manager or maybe my director, right, is asking me to jump on a fire drill, or maybe it's not a fire drill, it's just a new work item, then you need to show them your work list. And then you have to start negotiating with them what's out from the list in order for you to take the new one, right? And again, negotiate, and don't be afraid to get your hands dirty with challenges. Because in my opinion, it's a great opportunity for you to show your skill and of course to excel and to get promoted. Here is another one. Take a seat on the table. I hope everybody, I learned this also like very late. Of course, now we are living in this remote work environment, but in general, if you have a meeting, right, and let's say you are not a presenter, but you have prep for this meeting, right, please make sure that you sit on the main table. You listen patiently, right, for the end-to-end problem, right, that let's discuss, and then ask question and position your feedback in the nicest way possible, right? If you are taking the back seat, or maybe you do not ask any questions, sometimes this is a sign of declaring your lack of interest and involvement, and sometimes self-confidence. Monica talked a lot about also prioritization and reprioritization, right? Always ask yourself what's truly important for me, for my manager, and for my team, right? Remember, we talk about the list of priorities, right? You can get, right, different guidance from your maybe manager or maybe from your customers, right? Priorities are changing. You just have to understand what are the trade-offs, right? And again, do not forget to book your calendar. Always book your calendar for you, for your focus time, for the tasks where you said yes. And of course, don't forget to book your calendar for fun stuff, right? Like for yoga, for lunches, for talking, for networking, for walking the dog. It's absolutely fine. Maybe everything else probably here. Maybe I'm going to skip so we can go fast. Maybe just this one. Document your findings. Here is a fun fact or about myself. When I was just going to one of my manager a few years back, I was going to him and I was telling him, look, person X came to me, I don't know, third or fourth time to ask me about something. And he was like, you don't know how to solve this? If somebody's coming to you, you know, 3 times, 4 times with the same question or the same thing, it's super simple. First, if somebody comes to you with asking you a question, you do not spend your entire day or even your entire hour to solve their problem. You just give them a pointer. A pointer could be, you know, a link to a documentation, could be a hint, could be anything. Well, if the same person comes to you the second time and asks you for the same thing, then what do? Well, you give him or her the same pointer, or no, not the same pointer, a different pointer. Well, if they are coming the third time to you, then probably it's time for you to document, right? What do you know and others don't know? So it's super relevant, right? Like to keep your thoughts on the paper and in a document where everybody else has visibility. And whatever, one more thing, super important, have faith in your management chain. I encourage you all to meet your management chain. I'm talking about your skip, your director, your CVP. Make sure their objectives and commitments are aligning with yours and you understand why. It's super important for you to have faith and believe in your upper management and in their strategy. If all you believe in is your manager, that's not good, right? You have to really have faith in your entire chain. But whatever you do, all I'm saying is just have fun and enjoy. Because if you're not enjoying and you're not having fun, that's a sign of that's a sign for a change. And I hope you guys are still with me. I'm talking.
Yeah, we have a few new participants who joined. So just for those who are not here at the beginning, feel free to raise your hand if you have questions or type in the chat or unmute your microphone. Alina, stopping from time to time for questions.
So now we are switching gears and let's talk a little bit about the products I was working with my team and how these products are transforming the industries and how they are achieving business outcomes, right? I don't know how many of you understand like Internet of Things or IoT, Azure IoT. Azure, it's the Microsoft Cloud. IoT, refers to, and Azure IoT refers to a collection of managed and platform services across edge. When I say edge, I'm referring to something on-prem, it's not on cloud. So across edge and cloud that connect, monitor, and control billion of IoT devices and assets. And in a very simplistic way, you have to think of an IoT solution having three components. First, it's about things, which are the physical objects, right? Such an industrial equipment, device, a sensor that connects to the cloud persistently or perhaps intermittently. There is an insight, right? That's the information which is collected by the things, by your devices, maybe in this case, which is analyzed and it's turned into an actionable knowledge, either by, AI, right? A very smart process, or either by people. And of course, there is an action, right? The way people respond to these insights and connect them, right, to businesses, as well as the systems and the tools they are using. So now let me give you a super simple example, right? Consider you have a machine that sends temperature data, right? It sends temperature data, let's say every, I don't know, few seconds, right? This data, it's used to evaluate, right, whether the machine is performing as expected or not, right? If the temperature maybe it's below certain degree, certain value, then perhaps that's maybe maybe it's not performing well, right? The insight about its performance, it's used to prioritize a maintenance schedule for the machine, right? So if this condition happens, that I need to schedule, right, a maintenance for that machine, right? This is just simplistically what is an IoT solution about. Well, and let's talk a little bit about digital twins, because yes, the product will be talking about the Azure digital twins. Very quickly, what is a digital twin? A digital twin, it's a virtual representation of a real world entity or a process which is synchronized at specified frequencies and fidelities. Digital twins are using real-time and historical data to represent the past, the present, and of course, to simulate predicted futures. So now that you have this little background about what's a digital twin, I want to introduce you to Azure Digital Twins. Azure Digital Twins, it's an IoT platform that enables people to create digital representation of real world things, places, business processes. And with this product, you can model buildings, factories, farms, energy networks, railways, you name it, right? And digital twin product, it's using a language, right? The language that allows user to model, right, any domain, right? The fact that I'm implementing a building solution or a farm, all of these domains, right, and are defined with a language which is called digital twins definition language. The language, it's in a simplistic way, it's just describing, right, like something about the twin, right? Like what's the format of the messages, what are the properties, what commands, right, that entity or maybe that device supports, what is the relationship, right, of the twin in regards with other twin, and everything. It's about a live execution environment, right, which brings your digital twins to life in a graph representation. And of course, in any graph, there are relationships, right? And you can think of relationships as, verbs between nouns. Building 122 has floor 1, 2, 3, 4. Has is the relationship. Building 122, it's a twin. Floor 1, 2, 3, it's another twin. There are other twins. And of course, there are so many examples, right? Like the HVAC system cools the neighborhoods A, B, and C, right? Cools is the relationship. And all of these relationships, they're not static, right? You can define in your model what relationships you need, right? So everything is dynamic. And you can build dynamic business logic and data processing on a very robust event system. And of course, digital twins unlock actionable insights with powerful queries. We do have very powerful queries here. And of course, you can also integrate with storage, right? Storage for further analytics, right? And insights. Super simple. I'm just giving you an example. Imagine a huge skyscraper, right? With multiple tenants, multiple companies, with multiple floors. Each tenant has people and IoT devices and sensors, which maybe they are detecting occupancy, humidity, CO2, noise level. And the building has many building management systems, like, for example, the heating, ventilating, air conditioning, and lighting, and fire alarms, and security system, and plumbing, you name it. All of these entities are digital twins represented in a graph, receiving real-time messages from all of these systems. And what's the overall goal, right? The overall goal for the building is to run efficiently, right? And to perhaps optimize the energy in the buildings to save energy, but also to understand how space it is, right? How it's being used, right? How can you leverage those insights to improve space utilization over time, right? And of course, if performance of a device or an asset starts to slip, operators proactively change or service the device before the energy is wasted, or maybe it affects the tenant experience. I don't know if there are questions.
I don't see any in the chat.
Very briefly about ontologies. So I mentioned that digital twins definition language is the language, right, to describe all of this model and interfaces for digital twins. So if you deploy an Azure Digital Twins, you just start from a blank environment, a blank canvas, right? You have something blank in your face. You don't have any model, any twins, and you don't have anything. So this is when you need a set of models and a set of relationship for your domain. Let's say I'm doing smart building, right? Like a building. I need to define how a building looks like. I need to define an IoT system. I need to define a person, a device. So generically speaking, an ontology, it's a set of concepts and categories in a subject area or domain that shows their models and the relationship between them. And Microsoft and my team, we are releasing open source ontologies for Azure Digital Twins. And this is what you see in this image. This is one open source ontology for smart buildings that we have released in collaboration, of course, with other experts. In this ontology, we are defining, HVAC, right? Heating, ventilating, and air conditioning. These are or electrical or security equipment. of course, right, we do not have the expertise on what's in the HVAC, right? We work with experts. So now let's do a little bit of demo time. Hopefully, it was not too boring for you. Let's see if I want to bring, can you still see my screen?
Now we see your browser.
Yes.
GitHub.
Browser, perfect. Okay, so here in GitHub, open source, this is the real estate core ontology for smart buildings. If you are super interested, right, go explore. Here we are just showing, you know, what's this ontology about, right? Where how the base classes and base models are defined, what are the relationships. We give you an example. We explain you how it works, and we also show you how to run real queries. So you have here something to really understand what's an ontology. Now, just super quickly, if I open here a model to show you, like, for example, I'm going to an asset, just like, so you have an idea, an asset. What's an asset, right? It's an entity which has a serial number and a physical tag and a model number. Anyway, so on and so forth, right? Like, and you have relationships here. I'm going fast, I'm looking on the time. You have relationships, right? Like this asset serves maybe a space, right? And maybe is feeding, right? A space with some heating. So now if we go in Azure Digital Twin Explorer, let's see here. Still can see my screen?
Yep, can see the browser.
Okay. You see the browser. Okay, so now
not anymore though, so it moved to the PowerPoint.
Okay,
oh,
so
no,
what I'm showing now, it's Azure Digital Twin Explorer. This is a visual tool designed for users who want to explore their twin graph and to modify twins and relationship in the context of the graph. And somehow I'm jumping. So what I've done so far here, just like so you understand a little bit the context, I deploy an Azure Digital Twins. I imported my building ontology, right, with all the models. And I've created a very simplistic graph of the building, of course, for demo purposes, right? Normally in a production scenario, we have, you know, like a normal building with 4-story. We have like probably 1 million, maybe digital twins. Here, I just created something super simple. So now here, this is how the models look like and how models are defined and how they are related to each other. But probably it's what's most interesting. Let's go to the graph. And let's run this query. Let's see, what do we have in this graph? Oh no, this is not the instance I wanted. Hold on a second. This is a long, of course. So this is an instance which is like a super big instance. Give me a second. Let me close this browser. I'm sorry. That's a big instance and it takes time to load all that big. I just prepare a super small case for you, but I don't know, hopefully. So we are over time. Now we are exactly on time. Mickey and Monica, can we go like a few more minutes?
We usually go like 10-15 minutes over.
Yeah, sure. Go
Okay.
ahead, Alina.
I'm trying to go on this instance right now and change the instance, but okay, because this one, it's a big one. Save. I'm going to a smaller instance because otherwise you will see like millions and millions of items. And I'm sorry, yeah, I had to reboot my computer and this was reset. So Alina is still, let's see here how many twins we have. Okay, so this is better. What do you see here? You really see a building, right? A simple building, right? With temperature, right? Like with properties where we know we are looking here, the temperature, current temperature right now it's 73. We are looking on person occupancy, it's 30, person capacity, it's 2000. You see the real-time humidity. Same for the level, right? You see all the level, what's the current average temperature, occupancy. And now, if, for example, you go to, this is a VAV, this is a type of device for heating, ventilating. And what do we have here? We have all their properties. Okay, maybe here I don't have so many properties filled in, but finally I have here the temperature, which has value is 72, right? So what I wanna do right now, I wanna go here and take a query from this side, because I was giving you this example. I'm trying to give you to run this query where I'm saying, I want to find all the room's temperature in this building 122 at level 1, which are below 73, right? Because I want to see which are those rooms, right? So I'm running this query here, and let's see what we are getting. Well, we are running that room 101, right? It has the temperatures, right, below 73. So I don't know how if you have any questions about digital twins or about this tool. Happy to give you, I have more links at the end of my presentation if you want to explore. Here you can see the models, you can create twins, right? If I want to create more twins, I can create more twins. So yeah, this tool also, it's a free tool. Ontology, it's a free tool. Of course, Azure Digital Twins, it's not free. But of course, especially for students, there we have I think we have like I don't know, maybe 200 credit. Anyway, so if we continue, I want to continue my presentation just like to wrap it up. I'm not going through the architecture. This is something that you also can find on the public pages, just because we are late with time. I'm going to play you right now a 2-minute video to show you how an IoT solution, which was built by one of our partners, of course, it was built with Azure Digital Twin, how a smart building solution looks like on a real iconic building. So let me know if you cannot hear the audio.
The term smart building gets thrown around.
Can you hear?
We can hear, yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Gets thrown around a lot. But at its core, a smart building is a structure that enables sustainable communities, improves occupant experience, and reduces operating costs. But what makes a smart building smart? It's the robust backbone of data that's compiled throughout the building lifecycle that makes all of this possible. Enter the digital twin. Quite simply, a digital twin is a virtual replica of a physical asset. It collects and organizes data from a variety of inputs to derive insights that optimize asset performance and user experience. First used by NASA to assist in space exploration, the digital twin has found value in other industries: manufacturing, health, automotive, and now this powerful tool has come to the built world. From the very beginning of design, through construction, to the transition of sustainable occupancy, information is gathered and funneled into a digital copy of your building, giving you the ability to see what's ahead and know what to do about it. Quite simply, if you better understand what's going on with your building, you'll better understand your investment, increasing occupant satisfaction and building performance. Together with this powerful tool, we can build more connected and sustainable buildings that give you insights into your asset like never before. This is the era of smart buildings. This is the era of the digital twin.
And I will pause here. And here I'm going to leave you with some of the links I promise. This is the link if you search on YouTube for Veritasium, is success, luck, or hard work. Or yeah, there are lots of books that I recommend. These are on the left are books. Some of them, this is also a video. It's a TED Talk. But also this is some material about what I present you about ontologies, some labs about if you are interested in IoT, or if you are interested in digital twins. With this, I'm going to end my presentation. We are late, I'm sorry. And I have to thank you so much for attending and listening, and feel free to ask me any question.
Yeah, thank you, Alina.
Sure. Thank you. Alina, thank you. So first, I do have a question. I want to challenge you a little bit. So I know you are such a great model, and you are a mom. And what do you think? How Alina is going to like me in the 11th grade right now? Let's say, what do you send to what do you say to those girls?
So how am I balancing, like, is the question about how am I balancing like my professional with my just like, you know, personal life? Is that the question, Mickey?
Well, no, not really. So, yeah, so how is going to be like Alina right now going in 11th grade? What, yeah.
I think I mean, probably I talk about those, you know, thoughts before, right before, definitely, right. Try to discover what do you like the most, right? Try to discover what do you like the most. Try to discover things which you feel like they have potential for the future, right? Don't be afraid of challenges. Don't be afraid of future, right? I didn't know about computer science. I didn't know about IoT, though I felt like, you know, they represent the future. And I was so intrigued that I couldn't let go. But most of all, really don't stress out and have fun. I just realized that if you don't have fun in this world, no matter if it's professional or personal, it's not going to work. So first of all, have fun. Whatever you're doing, have fun. So that's what I'm trying to say. Have fun, but also, yes, try to put yourself in domains which, you know, which they're intrigued or, you know, have a potential future, right? A great potential, great future. That's my honest advice.
Okay, thank you.
I'm looking on the chat here, Monica. So yeah, if there are no more questions, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time in this morning or evening. And I hope to see you next time. And apologize for going over.
Oh no, you're good. Thank you, Alina. Thank you for doing this. You are such a great person, and you are such an inspiring. And thank you for your presentation. So yeah, for sure, InProTEd is going to have a AI for good next time on December 4th. So that's the only thing I can say about it.
Thank you, Alina. Great presentation. Love the demos and technical insight and the career advices.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alina.
Thank you. I was rushing at some point, just making sure that I will be on time. But yeah, emotions are normal. And
oh yeah, for sure, yeah. Once again, you are a great person, so you're good. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. And yeah, see you next time. And feel free to, you know, to ask, you know, us even offline, right? You can find me on LinkedIn. Ask all of us lots of questions. Do you need help? Just like, don't feel, you know, feel like you can reach out. And I'm going to stop sharing. Mickey, I cannot hear. Are we still?
Yeah, we're still on. So I was going to say that if we have any questions, I asked to raise a hand. If not, we can stop here. And thanking everyone for taking the time to join us today. So I'll stop the recording.